Titans made their way down to Atlanta for their second joint practice of the NFL season. Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper, and it was a practice. I'll say that for now, but we got a game going on this Friday, August 15th, and it's with the Tennessee Titans and the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully, we get to see a little more starters. We saw Cam Ward last week, and he looked really good. Hopefully, we could see a little bit more of the starters as we get closer and closer to that Week 1 game against the Denver Broncos, because honestly, they're going to need it, because it wasn't a pretty practice. It wasn't that practice that we've seen. A little bit of struggles, which we'll get into. But this is the second joint practice that they've had. Last week, it was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You saw some shining, you saw some lows, you saw some highs, but overall, it was a good practice for the two. Now, we're going to have a second practice tomorrow, so we'll also have that covered for you. But we'll start with the offensive takeaways and then work our way into the defense. You always want to start with offense, specifically with Cam Ward. And I'll just give you guys a full disclaimer. From what I've read, and the Falcons have this dumb rule, awful rule, that you are only allotted 90 seconds max time filming. So if you post something on Twitter that's longer than 90 seconds, you're done. So we saw a lot of 5, and I mean 5-second clips of everything. It was absolutely terrible to see, but we didn't get a lot from practice, but not good to say the least. Some great news, though. I guess you guys saw it yesterday with Lloyd Cushenberry being activated off the PUP list, and we saw this today as he was with the media, speaking to them. He said his plan to be ready for opening day. Corey Levin, I like you, but Lloyd Cushenberry is so much better. He is your starting center, and he can finally, as he's officially able to practice a couple weeks ahead, get that chemistry with Cam Ward as we're going into Week 1 of the NFL season. If you're excited for Lloyd Cushenberry to be back on this Tennessee Titans roster and practicing, getting in there, getting ready, being in shape, go ahead, hit that thumbs up icon. My first offensive takeaway from practice was Cam Ward not on point. Did not have a great practice. Did not look particularly accurate. But here are some of the plays that we saw that I read from all the people that were at the training camp practice today. You had an interception to Mike Ford. Not great. You know how much Cam Ward has been throwing interceptions throughout this offseason, throughout practice, throughout training camp, but I'll say he looked good in that first game, which we'll get into a second. Had an interception to Jesse Bates. It was a ball that was batted up in the air, and I read that it was the highest batted ball that they've ever seen in their life. So it was just kind of an unlucky play, but mostly we saw Cam Ward to Calvin Ridley a lot. And I think we're going to be seeing that a lot throughout the season. Me personally, I'm not worried about Cam Ward in the slightest. I'll say it over and over and over again. It's going to take him some time to learn the NFL game, going from the University of Miami to here. It's going to take some time to transition. You're going to have some highs and lows. You're going to have moments where he doesn't look great, but that's what rookies do. Name me a rookie that has been perfect. And I could talk about what we saw on Saturday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was basically, you can't get better than that. 2 drives, 5 for 8 passing, 67 yards, 89.1 QB rating, and led a 65-yard touchdown drive. And the Bucs and the Falcons are 2 teams that are kind of alike a lot. They're about the same talent. So we're going to see Cam Ward get these jitters out. Get these out, because I don't expect him to come out and be a Super Bowl contending team in his first year. That's why you get these out in practice. Practice makes you better. And if you're throwing these interceptions, you can get this out now. But if I see him doing this in Week 4, Week 5, Week 6 of the NFL season, and honestly, I saw a reply to one of the tweets, and it said, if this keeps happening, how long does Brian Callahan's job hold up before he's fired mid-season? I don't think Cam Ward's going to let that happen. I think he's going to get into rhythm, and we're going to see this Titans team, specifically the offense, get connected and be on point, because you got a wide receiver like Calvin Ridley. And that's my second takeaway. It's just he is an absolute dog of a receiver. And people are sleeping on him a little bit. I mean, he's missed some time a couple years ago for mental health. He had the suspension, but he is back, and he looks better than ever. For all the videos that I saw which I can't obviously show you guys on here. I wish you could, because then we could really talk about it and really dissect it. He was cooking A.J. Terrell. It seemed like every single pass play, it was going to Calvin Ridley. Every single time, he was open. And this came from Teron Davenport, who was at Falcons and the Titans joint practice. He said it was fun to watch those two go at it. Ridley caught 3 out of the 4 reps, and it was good work by both of them. So it's a little bit of friendly back and forth. I mean, Calvin Ridley just got the better of it. But after seeing this and seeing the connection that we saw with Cam Ward and Ridley in that first preseason game, how 3 out of his 5 completions were directly to Ridley, I'll go out and say this now. He might get 110 catches. It's going to be because obviously you have Van Jefferson. Obviously you have Tyler Lockett. And Alec Manor didn't have the best practice from what I've read, so we're just going to stick with Calvin Ridley here. But he had Will Levis and Mason Rudolph as his quarterback last year. And this man still was able to get 1,000 yards, 16 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns. I could see those numbers just going up and up and up. And, you know, I like to dabble a little bit on the gambling aspect of things. You see those stats right here, 1,000 yards in last season. Well, the good old friends over at some certain sports book have this listed as his line, 925.5 yards. Don't tempt me with a good time, because Cam Ward is going to look his way every single play. Got to get to number 0. Got to get it to number 0. So if you like that odds, go do that, because don't tempt me with a good time, because that is screaming at me right in the face with just how good Calvin Ridley looks going into the season. We know he's been dedicated. My last takeaway is that we got to figure out the backup running back, man. It looked like a major, major problem when Tony Pollard came off the field, and it was between Julius Chestnut and Khalil Mullings. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't hear anything from Mullings today, which is a little bit interesting on why. But this is why, because your backup running back, your 1A, 1B, whatever you want to say, your third down back, Tyjae Spears, going to be out for a couple weeks due to a sprained ankle. And it means Spears' preseason is over, and the team will hope to have him back by the start of the season. You can't guarantee that he's going to be back by the start of the season. So you have to keep that in mind, and you have to have your backup running backs below him step up. And then you had Julius Chestnut fumbling during a snap during practice, and Mike Hughes scooped it up for the touchdown. I don't want to see those things happening this in practice, because these aren't rookies. This could easily be leading to what we could see in the regular season. I hope Julius Chestnut is good, because he already lost his spot as kick returner, which I was surprised about. So if he's doing that, it's not like he's having the best camp. And now he's going to be in that spot if Tyjae Spears is out. It can't just be Tony Pollard out there. I love Tony Pollard. He's one of my favorite running backs. I draft him in fantasy every year since he was in Dallas. It can't just be him out there. You have to have another running back to at least have him get some energy on the sidelines. And I don't want to see Khalil Mullings or Julius Chestnut in the game over Tyjae Spears, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen if he doesn't get healthy. Overall, it's just not a good practice, man. It's just not. The offense had some problems. There was no connection outside of Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley, and they're going to need to turn it around tomorrow. Everybody in the Titans organization was like, we need to play better. We need to be better. We have to do this. We have to do that, because they know how bad it was. They don't want this to be a 6-win team in 2025. And from what they're practicing, it's kind of looking like it was. Had some a little bit highs on the defensive end with one player in particular, but we'll break that down later. But right now, I want to just congratulate the Titans fans that are out there, because in July of last month, only 173 subs, and then in August, we are almost at 200. We are 5 away from 11,200 subs. So go ahead. If you love the Titans content, if you want it every single day, covering the games, covering the practices, covering any news and rumors, go ahead and hit that sub button right now. And while you're at it, while you're down there, go check out the comments and description, because if you use this link, chatsports.com/Titans hoodie, you can get this cutoff hoodie for 40% off. Look, in Nashville, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot and probably until October, but it's going to start cooling down, getting into football weather. And if you want to be out at Nissan Stadium, I know the sun is out, but you still want to feel that little breeze, this is the perfect hoodie for you. It's a cutoff hoodie. It's nice, it's sleek, and it's on sale. 40% off. So go to chatsports.com/Titans hoodie right now. We'll also have that in the comments and description of today's video. Okay, so the first takeaway from the defense is that Jeffery Simmons was all over the ball. It seems like he has come back. He's in shape. He lost 20 pounds. He's faster, stronger, and it's clear as day that he is going to be the best player on this team. This is from Paul Kaharski. Said had a nice pressure that forced an incompletion from Penix during that period. That was about 10:14 this morning, and it was clear that he is going to be the best player on this field. And every single opportunity that the Falcons had where they were disrupted, it wasn't from anybody else except for Jeffery Simmons. He's still an All-Pro, and it seems like he could be an All-Pro once again this year and be one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Second one, defensive back struggled. We saw L'Jarius Sneed back on the field for once, which was a great sight to see, but Michael Penix and Drake London, they absolutely just tore up this secondary. Teron Davenport, not to mention overall takeaway from the first Titans practice, was not good. They were sluggish to start offensively, struggled to run the ball, but you see that right there. Michael Penix and the Falcons cut up the Titans secondary. It's one practice, so no need to panic, but it was not good. And I hope Roger McCreary, he was not happy. He called it. They asked him what the practice was, and he was like, it was all right. It was all right. And then he paused for a second and went, it was bullshit. He's not happy. Nobody's happy about what happened on this field. And then this last takeaway that I have for you guys is Cedric Gray. He's kind of just fallen back. It was a possibility that he could be the starting linebacker next to Cody Barton on this team going into week 1. Well, James Williams, he stepped up an absolute ton. Looks like the best. He had 7 tackles in the preseason game on Saturday, and it's clear that he's taken that spot as the interior linebacker number 2. Otis Reese maybe still get a little bit of shot, but it seems like Cedric Gray has fallen back in his time as trying to be the starter, or at least, is over. You're going to be a solid backup because Bijan Robinson cooked him on a wheel route for a touchdown in 7-on-7. Michael Penix was the quarterback. Cedric Gray was in coverage, and Bijan cooked him. I know Bijan is fast, but you need your linebackers that are going to be able to be dropping back into coverage, especially on running backs and tight ends. And if Bijan is beating you on wheel routes, that's a problem. I don't know if James Williams, it could happen to James Williams, but right now it's happening to Cedric Gray, and it seems like Williams is going to get the start. The overall theme, and it seemed like they really reiterated that a ton today, is that they need to start fast. They need to not act sluggish. You saw it from that tweet from Teron Davenport. They started slow versus the Bucs, and now they're starting slow in joint practice against the Falcons. They need to start faster and also just play better in general. Are you concerned about the Titans' latest struggles? I know it's practice, but the practices have not looked good overall, and starting to worry me a little bit. I think this team is not going to be a playoff team at this point, but I could see them winning. I still have them winning 6 to 7 games. I think Cam Ward is still going to be good. I think he's going to be fine. All I say is just be better tomorrow. You put that to the side. You go to sleep on it. You wake up the next morning. You just promise yourself to be better. And if the Titans come out and have a better practice tomorrow, then you throw all that away and you take a deep breath, and it's going to be all right. That's going to do it for the latest edition of Titans Today by Chat Sports. Don't forget to hit that big red sub button. We'll have you covered with joint practice tomorrow. And as always, tighten up.